Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Albert Pooley, but please feel free to call me Al. And welcome aboard. Let's go for a little ride here for an hour or so. Okay? Thank you.
Is it PowerPoint?
Yeah. We have prepared a short PowerPoint for you, so maybe make it easier to understand here. First one, a little bit more about who we are and who I am. I started this program on the Salt River Indian Reservation in 2001, actually. I did it as an individual contractor, and it was just actually for men to begin with. And about a year into the program, the man said to me, you know, Al, this is really good. Our wives need to learn what we're learning. And that's how we then expanded into motherhood. And now the mothers and fathers have told me that our children need to learn this. And now it's being taught in several schools across the country. And we like to invite more educators to teach these courses in their own schools. In fact, some fathers and mothers said, I wish I had this material back when I was in school or 30 years ago. Like Amy said, we work with about 240, it's a little bit more than that, close to 250 tribes throughout North America. A little bit about who I am. I was trained as a marriage and family therapist, and I've done that. I've been a counselor since 1971. It's a long time. And I've been married to my wife, Julia. We just had celebrated our 51st wedding anniversary 2 weeks ago. And we have 6 children and 16 grandchildren. And so that's who I am. I was born and raised on the Navajo and Hopi Indian reservations here in northern Arizona. I went to boarding schools like most people did. And so that's who I am. And so we're proud and we're happy that we're here with you. We're happy that we joined us. So please feel free to ask questions. Okay. Our whole focus at our program here is that we do cover things like addictions, suicide preventions, and strengthening relationships, marriage, and things like that. But our whole focus is on family, because we say the family is the heart of all of our Native American cultures. It's the family. Why do we have jobs? It's to strengthen our families. It's all centers around family. And we see because of that, there is no other work more important than your role as a father and mother. That's how critically important it is. Okay, and the reason why we say that is because the source of our greatest happiness and our greatest sorrows is the relationship we share with our own families. Okay. Now, when it comes to families, NAFA works on 3 things when it comes to families. One of them is we strengthen the existing family. We strengthen them. The relationships between siblings and parents and children. Because we say, if children learn how to solve problems while they're growing up in a caring environment, guess what, parents? They will be able to, when they grow up, they bring strangers into the family called in-laws. Many times in-laws can cause problems or misunderstandings. But if children have learned how to solve problems as children growing up, guess what? They're able to solve problems when they bring strangers or in-laws into the family. They will remain close into adulthood. The second thing we do is keep families together. There are some families that divorce is probably the best thing to do. There's too much pain, there's hurt, people fall out of love. But you know what? If you have children, you can still keep the family together. You just change roles. You're no longer the husband and wife. You can still become partners and friends. Okay, so we try to keep families together. The third thing we do is that sometimes there's a lot of water gone under the bridge. People have burned so many bridges that they don't feel connected with their families anymore. When there's still said a lot of ugly things to each other, we try to reunite families. That goes to kids who have been adopted out also. We're working now with people who are aging out of the welfare system. So we've done a lot of work with reuniting families, okay? A movement to promote unity, prosperity, and strengthening families. Why is building and maintaining strong families an important key to success in all of our lives, okay? Our existence as people, as a human, and our happiness depends upon building and nurturing strong relationships. That's really what it boils down to. Like any structure, the foundation is vital, okay, to our stability and success. Even Every time you build a house, the first thing you got to look at is the foundation strong. Even a car, is a car frame strong? Even a bicycle, the frame has to be strong. If it isn't, you're going to have problems. Same here. Let's look at the foundation. So building a good foundation for a happy and safe life for our families. Now, NAFA has 3 pillars. When people come through our program, we work on 3 things. Like I said, we work on their self-worth, a lot on self-worth. We work on their personal identity, and we want them to have a purpose-driven life. We work on those 3 things. Now, self-worth, let's talk about that for a minute. We want them to understand the true nature of their personal value, their worth, their usefulness, productivity, and goodness. They have to see that and understand it themselves. Now, knowledge is one thing. Understanding is better than that. Okay, so we want them to understand their true nature as a person. Now, everyone has a sense of individual worth, either it's either good or negative. Okay, but we say there's ways. How do you develop your self-worth? And we try to break things down so that people understand it. One of the ways we get our self-worth is this: is how are we treated by others, particularly individuals that are significant in our lives? How are we treated? And many times we have very little say-so in that. The next one is very important. We say, how do you respond to the way you are treated? Why is that so important? Because if you keep responding the same way, you will be treated the same way. So we try to give you new ways, different ways, innovative ways of how to respond. Because if you start responding differently, people will have to treat you differently. They will. So you control that. The third thing is, how useful are you to other people, particularly to loved ones? Now, some people, if you're not very useful, people really don't need you around. For even on the job, I'm sure you may have people that you work with that aren't very useful. They're just there, drawing a paycheck. Okay? Their worth is going to be diminished because they're not very useful. In the home is the same way. If you're useful in the home, you are valued more. And some people today, all they do is play on their telephone, they're texting. Okay? They play video games, watch too much TV, and you know what? They're not really valued because they don't contribute. They're not very productive. Okay, so we want to say, listen, if you want to have self-worth to go up, you need to be productive. You need to participate to the welfare of your family, okay, and of each other. Okay, now, why is self-worth so important? Because you know what? All major decisions you make in your life, listen to this, all of your major decisions you make in your life has a direct correlation or a direct connection with self-worth. If you don't think too much of yourself, your decisions in life are going to reflect that. The more you think of yourself, you make better decisions. Okay? You spend a lot of time on that. Number 2, we work on personal identity. These are concepts and beliefs. Now, the word beliefs is very critical. We have about ourselves, okay? Such things such as our race, gender, body image. Maybe you think you're too tall, too short, too heavy. That has impact on your identity, okay? Now, self-respect, talk about respect, the right to make your own choices. Now, if you respect other people, you allow them to make their own choices, whether you agree with them or not. So we work on respect. How do you do that? Happiness and joy are critical functions to freedom, okay? Now, getting back to identity. Many times your identity can change. Many times we let society determine our identity. How we dress, what kind of car we drive, whatever it may be. Many times society dictates our own identity. We need to look at, so we really begin to refine your identity. It's what you choose to do, okay? Then we look at bringing purpose to one's life. We want you to have a life that's driven by purpose, okay? The strength of our purpose affects how we think, look, plan, and move in our future, in our lives. There's 3 components. One of them is we want you to be a forward-thinking person. What we mean by that is this. we put good things into your mind that will motivate and inspire us to do good. We tell our fathers and mothers this: we want you to learn the importance of standing on your own goodness. Don't stand on your looks, don't stand on your culture, don't stand on your race, don't stand on your education. All those are wonderful. They're all important. Stand on your own goodness, because you know why? When you stand on your own goodness in difficult times, people will come to your aid. They'll be willing to help you. We're all going to have difficult times in our life. Become a forward-thinking person, okay? Put good things into your mind. Now, I tell people this: the hardest thing you will ever do in your life is to control the way you think. Why do you think people fall off the wagon in the addictions field? Because they have not changed the way they think. They keep thinking the same thing over and over. Now, what I mean by that is that the big thing, let's say in AA, is sobriety. That's wonderful. That's a big step in the right direction. But if you don't put new ideas into your head that will motivate you and inspire you, there are some people that are jerks when they're drinking. And when they sober up, they're still jerks because they haven't changed the way they think. Okay? Now, so I'm saying this: to improve yourself, you got to become a forward-thinking person. Number two, forward-looking, seeing past our own problems and imperfection, and recognizing our value and our potential. You have to look beyond your own past and imperfections. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Forward-moving. You let go of things or experiences and bad memories that hold you back or down. Because some people shackle themselves to their past. They can't let go of it. That slows them down, even prevents them from moving forward. Okay? So I tell the people, I say, play along with me, I say. Some people want change to happen, but they can't change. It's difficult for them to change. We tell them this: some people pray for a miracle. They wish for something, they hope for something, but it never comes. Now, we say, yes, miracles do happen. Miracles do happen. But understand this: you are a walking miracle. Why? Because there's never been a person like you ever like you before, and there will never be a person exactly like you ever again. You are one of a kind. You are important. You are priceless. You are even precious, precious, precious. You have to understand your uniqueness. Now, what does that mean? Okay. You are the miracle. And I say, this, play along with me. I said, there's a magical key in your heart that can make you do all kinds of good, wonderful things. I can help you find that key. I really can. But I can't turn it. Only you can turn it. And when you turn it, you can actually take that key out of your heart and to begin to unshackle yourself from your past. Now, you won't forget things, but all those bad memories can be changed. Okay? You will learn to understand the value of difficult times. Okay? You will see the value of that. There's a reason. There's a way to, I have time to get into it now, but you can learn from your bad experiences. Okay? But you unshackle yourself. Okay? So I'm saying, you are the miracle. You are a walking miracle. Let me show you how you do it. There's a process to doing that. Okay? Now, why purpose? Why teach purpose? Because purpose does this. It adds to our direction in life. It creates discipline. It really does. Self-discipline. It motivates and helps in self-improving ourselves, improves ourselves. It brings greater meaning to our life, and it develops self-worth and self-esteem. Now, self-esteem is different than self-worth. They're closely related, okay? But self-esteem is more related to your level of confidence. How confident do you feel? Now, we don't feel confident in everything, okay? Like if they ask me to sing the national anthem at a football game, I'm not very confident, okay? So my self-esteem may drop, but my self-worth should still be consistent. So they're related, but they're not the same thing. Now, typically programs for families in Native American communities have focused primarily on the needs of women and children, such as WIC, it's just for the women. with little attention given to the unique needs of the men as they struggle to become valuable family participants. Now, Native American men are often viewed as the cause of many of the family and social problems. And you've heard people say this, I don't need a man, I don't want a man. Okay, they may have good reasons for that, but again, men have been viewed as many times has been viewed as the problems. And NAFA, we take a different position on that, looking at the fathers now. In all reality, we say fathers are the solutions to addressing the problems in our communities. They really are the solutions to addressing the problem. Our job is to how do we engage these men? Okay, they're not paid to engage us, we're paid to engage them. And we've been pretty good at that. We can show you how to do it. Number two, the fathers are the greatest untapped resource available in our communities. The answer isn't getting more police officers or hiring more social workers and counselors or getting bigger jails. The answer is getting the fathers more directly involved in the lives of their families and communities. They are the greatest untapped resource we have available in our communities. We don't know how to, most people don't know how to do it. We can help you do it, okay? Fathers must take the lead in keeping families together, okay? Now, there's a process you go through that, but fathers must take the lead in keeping families together. Let me say one thing about that. In some of the prisons, they have different groups. One of them, they say, we're warriors. Okay, warriors of what? In prison, you're told what to wear, what to eat, when to get up, where to go. You warriors here? Yeah, tell me all about being a warrior here. Okay. Your children out there, back home, they're hungry, they're lonely, they're starving, they're being abused, neglected, and you're calling yourself a warrior here. What are you doing in a place like this? Let's prepare yourself so when you get out, you really become a warrior. You know why? Because one of the biggest fights you're going to ever do you're going to have in your life is to keep your families together. That's perhaps going to be the biggest fight you're ever going to have. You better prepare yourself, fathers and mothers, to take on that battle of keeping and strengthening your families. I could go on with that for hours. I could give you stories on that. Now, how is real change achieved? Now, we're in the people changing business as professional therapists and counselors and stuff like that. But I tell people the bad news, guess what? You do not, nor do I, have the power, the skills, the talent to change anybody. We can't change people, okay? But yet that's our profession. That's our job. Now, but real change comes by making people feel. You've got to make people feel. Knowledge doesn't change people. But most programs are knowledge-based. Okay, they're knowledge-based. They just give a lot of knowledge. Have you ever heard the comments? You talk to a person, let's say an alcoholic, you say, you should get a job. You'll say, I know. If you're drinking, I know. Be nice to your wife, children, I know, I know. They do know what they have to do. They know a lot. You got to make them feel. That's how people fall in love, is by making them feel. The example I use, you could give someone your resume. They may be impressed, but that's not enough to have them fall in love. You may give them letters of references that may impress them even more. You may even give them pictures of yourself. That may turn them on and get them excited, but that's not enough to fall in love. You have to make them feel. And same with working with your clients, okay? Now, we'll talk about that more in a minute. Outside pressure rarely changes people, okay? Like knowledge doesn't change people. Preaching to them, yelling at them, intimidating them, scaring them. They may change for a while, but they go right back to what they were doing before, okay? Change comes by filling life with hope, gratitude, and understanding, because their change, I can't read the last part here. Let me explain to you by that. Let's say a mother, her child is going down the wrong path. She's brokenhearted. She does everything she can just because her child is now drinking and drugging and all that. She may come to you and crying, what do I do? She'll say, she may also say, what did I do wrong? I did everything. So what you do is add this. What I do is that I try to fill that mother's life with as much hope as I can put in her body. She has to have hope, because when her child comes home, He's saying things like this: I hope my mom will let me in. I hope my mom will understand. I hope, I hope, I hope. If mother does not have any hope, she'll start yelling, condemning that child. I told you so, you don't fuck. He doesn't need that. Remember, you can't give something if you don't have it. If you don't have hope, you can't share it, you can't give it. So I try to fill that mother's life with as much hope, so when the kid comes home, she may have to give him some of her hope. Gratitude is powerful. That is real native medicine, gratitude. Have you ever seen people that are just complain all the time, that are just negative all the time, okay? That whine, blame? People like that are not very grateful. They think somebody owes them something or they're entitled to something. No, life was never meant to be easy, fair, or comfortable. We have to make it that way, okay? And they just become bitter people. Trying to live with a bitter person or work with a bitter person is difficult for anybody. So gratitude, you know what? Gratitude can replace bitterness. It really does replace it, okay? Gratitude, what are you grateful for? So we go with very simple things with people, okay? So we try to put as much gratitude in that mother's life, okay? She begins to change herself. The next thing we work on is understanding. Because when you not knowledge, but understanding. When she really understands, you know what she does? She doesn't blame. She doesn't criticize. She has more patience. She has more tolerance, and the list goes on. It doesn't mean she agrees or condones that behavior. It means she understands it, okay? And that's where her patience, her tolerance goes up, okay? Now, so we try to fill that mother's life with as much hope, gratitude, and understanding. And she begins to do wonders herself, okay? Now, when you work with people, this is our approach to working with people. In our efforts to help and assist people, often we move away from two important necessary elements. Now, this is really Native American. I've taught at 3 universities in the past throughout my professional career. And each university kind of says in their own way, there should be arm's length between you and your clients. And there's some truth to that, okay? We don't have time to get into that. But we tell people this: if you work with Native Americans, and I'm talking to Native Americans themselves, I don't care if you have a PhD or a master's degree, and if you're Native American, you must truly love the people whom you serve. That is critical. And you could be an Irishman from Ireland and then nothing about Native American, but you love our people. We need you, we want you. You could be an African from Ethiopia. If you love our people, we want you, we need you. Because you're becoming a good person. Truly loving the people whom you serve. Let me tell you what I mean by that. If you had a dog that was, let's say, hit by a car and broke its leg, would you let your dog go to a veterinarian that didn't like animals? You wouldn't even think about it. You'd go to a veterinarian that truly loved animals, that was there to help your animal. The same with people. So just because you have a degree, or because you're Native American, or because you've been recovered from alcoholism for 20 years, that don't mean jack, unless you use it properly. And number one, you must truly love the people whom you serve. That is critical. That's real Native American 101. Number 2, you must love what you bring to the people. That's what makes a good mother and a good father. They love being a mother. They love being a father. And there's some things that, like I said, when I was a therapist, I had to do a lot of process notes. I didn't like that, but that was part of the job. Okay? Now, I always ask a mother or a father, has your baby ever thrown up all over you? And they'll laugh and yes, they have. Yeah, babies throw up on you, they pee on you, whatever they do on you. You don't like it, but you got to clean it up. That's part of the job. They get sick in the middle of the night, get taken. That's part of the job. You love what you bring to the people you serve. Okay? Now, this is what you do precisely. Precisely when somebody walks in that door, your job is to uplift them, uplift their spirits, their attitude, their self-image, their self-worth. You make them feel welcome, wanted, needed. You make them feel special. The reason why I say this is because because they're coming to you asking you for assistance, asking you for help. Nobody likes to ask for help. Sometimes we've all had to ask for help borrowing money. Nobody likes to borrow money from anybody, but sometimes you have to. Okay? Now, so when people walk into your office, they're asking you for help, or they're maybe court ordered to attend, whatever the reason why. Our job as professional is to uplift them. Now, it starts by a smile. It starts by a welcoming smile, okay? Or it starts by a good morning, how are you? Okay? But it has to be real, authentic. If you love the people, it's easy to do that. Number 2, you encourage them, okay? When you encourage people, you strengthen and bring them renewed hope. You strengthen them because they walk in with a little bit of hope. You are now strengthening that hope or bringing them new hope, okay? You're developing, you're having them create a desire for change. We can spend a lot of time on that, but we don't have time for that. Next one, you assist them. You assist them, helping them recognize opportunities, identifying resources for them. But this is the big one. You help them understand the importance of solving their own problems. Why do I say that? Is because all life is, every day of your life, every hour of your life, you're going to have to solve your problems. Now, the moment we stop solving our own problems is the moment we now become the problem. We are the problem. Why? Because we're not solving our problem. Somebody's going to have to solve the problems for us. That's why we have therapists, counselors, police officers, judges, prisons, because people are refusing to solve their own problems. That's why we have so many divorces, same way. Okay? So now, understand something. When you solve your own problems, guess what? You are becoming responsible. And people love to be around people who are responsible, because responsibility is a sign of maturity. That's all it is. So learning how to solve your own problems, you're just becoming responsible and becoming mature. Now, you love them. You love what you bring to them. You uplifted them. You've encouraged them. You've assisted them. Guess what? You have earned their respect. You have earned their confidence. You have earned things like that. Okay. Now you have also earned their trust. They trust you. They have confidence in you. And guess what? Now they're all ears. They will listen to you because you have earned it. They don't just give it away freely. Okay. So just because you have a title behind your name, or just because you're a certain gender, or because you're a certain race or culture, those are all helpful things, yes, but that's not what's going to make it happen. Okay. There's an old statement here by the guy with Zig Ziglar. I like what he said here. He says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you really care about them. And that is so spot on correct. We talk about, this is one of the things in our program. We're trying to lay a foundation for rebuilding their lives. Because remember, there has to be a solid foundation. So we say, sacredness is a deep traditional value of Native people. Certain things like mountains, rivers, canyons, burial grounds are sacred. Yes, they are sacred to us. Other things such as animals, like buffaloes and eagles, yes, they're sacred. But we say, we Indian Native people, we have missed the mark by not identifying the two most sacred things on this earth, which is more sacred than any mountain, than any animal, than any feather. Your role as a father and your role as a mother. Fatherhood is sacred. Motherhood is sacred above anything else. You know why? Because you are co-creators with the Creator. You have a sacred responsibility. You really do. Both of you now. I'm talking a lot now to parents, both parents now. This is mainly to the mothers, because I've heard a lot of women say, I'm just a mom, stay-home mom, I don't do much. Oh, yes. Mothers are critical. Now we say this to both fathers and mothers. We want you to understand that motherhood and fatherhood are honorable and noble professions. Let me explain what I mean by that. I've been very fortunate to work with over 400 Native tribes throughout North America. Tribes from Prince Edward Island, Canada, all the way to the Yukon, from Alaska to Florida, from Maine to Hawaii, throughout my professional career. Every tribe traditionally, every single tribe that I've ever worked with traditionally believes in life after death, okay? They believe our spirit continues to live. Now, guess what? You could be a principal or a school teacher or a police officer or a judge or whatever it may be and have a career that lasts 20, maybe even 40 years. But after that's over, you will retire. But guess what? After you die, you're still going to be someone's father or someone's mother. When you pass on, you're going to look for your own father and mother. Fatherhood and motherhood are honorable and noble professions. Don't apologize for being a father, and don't ever apologize for being a mother. You know why? Motherhood is mother is not only sacred, but it's the strongest thing on this earth. The most strongest, the most lasting thing on this earth is the soft, tender heart of a loving and caring mother. There is nothing stronger, more lasting than the soft, tender heart of a loving and caring mother. And that's the truth. And I'm telling you, speaking to you, teaching you Native American 101. You already know this stuff. I'm just bringing it back to your own remembrance. Parents need to understand and know the value of their critical role as fathers and mothers. You're caregivers, you're loving, you're nurturing. And nurturing means it's a balance of love and discipline. You have to give a balance of love and discipline. Okay? We don't have time to get into that, but we talk a lot about that. We work a lot on building someone's character and integrity. And this is how we define character. We teach the fathers and the mothers the importance of keeping your promises, not just verbally, but through your actions. Our actions and our words determine our character, okay? Like you may say, don't steal, and you steal. It's just words, that's just words. We want you to have your words reflect your actions, your character. True character allows us to value and protect the things that are important in life. Now, broken promises brings broken hearts, broken friendships, and broken homes. Why? Because we have broken our promises we've made to each other. Integrity is being consistent, honest, dependable, faithful, and even predictable. Our integrity determines what we really are, not who we say or who we pretend to be, but who we really are. Because there are a lot of people that are hypocrites, a lot of politicians, a lot of medicine people, a lot of professionals. They say one thing, but they do just the opposite. And guess who can feel that? Kids can feel it. They really can. We say to be good parents, but we don't. Kids can feel that. Integrity, being consistent, honest, dependable, faithful, even predictable. We show our integrity by how we care for others and serve other people. People love and have confidence in those who have integrity. When you have integrity, guess what? You are easily loved, easily, because people trust you. Okay. NAFA lays the foundation of healing through 3 curriculums. Okay. There's a process of healing. We don't have to go over that, but if we did, because healing is just not a word. It's a process you have to go through. Now, the most important thing about healing is this. If you you must first understand the importance of healing yourself first before you start healing somebody else. And some people don't understand that. You got to first of all heal yourself before you can heal other people. Now, what are the benefits that come out of healing? There's 2 benefits. One of them is this. You come out with a clear mind and a clear conscience. You, in essence, have transformed yourself into another person. You're the same person, yes, same look, same everything, but your heart and mind are different. You have transformed. Basically, you have transformed yourself to another person because you've gone through the process of healing. I love to do workshops on how that is done. What's this process of healing? It's just not a word. It's a process you go through. I tell people, even making good fry bread's a process. I love to eat fry bread, but I don't know how to make it. I've never learned that process. I know what the ingredients are, but I've never learned. If the grease is too hot, it's going to cause problems. If it's too cold, it's going to cause problems. I have to learn the process of making fry bread. Same with healing. It's just not a word. It's a process you got to go through. Now, our first foundational course is called Fatherhood is Sacred, Motherhood is Sacred. Our second course is called Linking Generations by Strengthening Relationships. How do you strengthen relationships? Okay. You link generations. Part of your job as a mother and father is to link generations. You got to teach your children about their forefathers. Why? Because someday they're going to meet them soon. The last course we have here is called Addressing Family Violence and Abuse. We learn, we'll get talking about that a little bit more here in a minute. This first course is that we bring it's laying the foundation, but we want to bring purpose. And we start by saying, what's the purpose of life? The purpose of life is to have a happy and safe family. Remember, the heart of our native people is family. So the purpose of life, just reasonable thinking, is to have a family that's truly happy and safe. Not just to have a family. Anybody can have a family. We want our families to truly be happy and safe. And that's where father and mother must come in. We teach them the importance of order versus chaos. If you live in a world of chaos, you're going to be lost. You ever heard the term lost soul? You know what causes people to be lost? It's called lies and deception. Think about this. If you live in a world of lies, everybody lied to you. Your family, your friends, your coworkers, your neighborhood. You know what? You become lost so quickly because everyone's lying to you. So that causes chaos. Okay? A lot of times in our communities that are filled with gossip, rumors, and lies. Can you imagine why people are lost? Because they're filled with gossip, rumors, and lies. We got to bring order back to our communities. And we got versus chaos, okay? So that's the responsibility of dads because they are the leaders. They're the greatest untapped resources in our community, but they just got to learn to do them. Now, I go to a lot of prisons. I go to a lot of jails. I love going to prisons and to work with men and women. I have never met a man or woman in prison, even if they're on death row. And what they want? They would love to have a happy and safe family. They really would. A lot of them don't know how to do it. They've never been taught. They've never seen it because they've come from a world of chaos. So you got to teach them the process of bringing order to their lives. Okay. We teach them principles. We don't teach values because values can change. We teach them principles because principles are consistent. They never, ever change. Okay. These are the principles are the foundational. Talk about the creator, choice, teachable, wisdom, and service. Okay. Now we don't bring religion into this program, not even Native American practices, because we say that's the responsibility of dad and mom, not a program. But we tell them our people, traditionally, every tribe I work with, they believe in the creator. Choice is so important. Choice is critical. Next to life itself, choice is your greatest possession. Embrace it, value it. Choice, teachable. What do you learn? It's not going to call it teachable. Is it can you learn? But what do you learn? You must have a desire to learn the truth. Simple. Truth is a key ingredient in being teachable. Okay. Wisdom. Can you use your knowledge and experience fairly and correctly? You got to bring courage into that, and courage is that wisdom. The last one is service. Service is a beginning. Okay. The next level of service is called sacrifice. Now, and you as parents, you have sacrificed. A loving, caring mother and father has sacrificed their time, their energy, their resources, even their career, their rest, their sacrifice. So service, sacrifice. Once you've sacrificed, now the word sacredness means something. It carries meaning. It's a process to this. Linking generations by strengthening relationships. Okay, it's the 14 sessions. Okay, we teach the parents and people how to strengthen relationship. Even like we teach young people how do you find a mate? How do you end relationships? People don't know how to end relationships, so they say all these mean, ugly things to each other. Finally, like a pencil, it snaps. When something snaps like that, there's a lot of sharp, jagged, pointed edges. You know what? If you don't take care of those sharp, jagged, pointed edges, you take those same problems to the next relationship. Different name, different face, but same problems. Because you haven't learned how to do certain things. It doesn't mean you're stupid or dumb. It just means you haven't learned how to do it. That's all. Okay. In this course, we talk a lot about the importance of self-worth, love and intimacy, communications, interactions, self-control. We talk a lot about attitude. Because why attitude? Because the most powerful weapon you have is attitude. It can push people away or bring them into your life. Attitude is more powerful than your past, than your culture, than your education, than anything. Attitude is powerful. So you got to have a good attitude. Some people say have all these problems. The first thing you look at is that you look at their attitude. If you have a bad attitude, maybe you're the problem, not them, but you are the problem. Okay. Now, So we get into all those things, and we talk about we talk about things like, what are the 3 biggest reasons for divorce? Remember, I'm a therapist and marriage counselor. That's been my profession. The biggest reason for divorce is not having affairs, or it's not money, or it's not communication, it's not in-laws. That's what the professionals tell you. Those are excuses. The biggest reason for divorce, from my experience, is called selfishness. If you're married to a person who's selfish, I can tell you right now, you're going to have problems. If you both are selfish, you're going to have a lot of problems. Okay? Next one is emotional immaturity. You can be intellectually mature. You can be a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, a judge. Professionally, intellectually, you're mature. Physically, you're mature. You can be a bull rider, a football player. You can have babies, make babies. Physically, you're mature. But here, emotionally, you're immature. You blame, you complain, you whine, you criticize, you're jealous. If you're married to a person that's emotionally immature, you're going to experience problems. The third one is laziness. I can't put it any simpler than that. If you're married to a person that's lazy, they don't understand the amount of stress they're putting on that relationship. Okay, and they like to rationalize. Well, at least I don't drink. I'm as lazy as hell, but at least I don't drink. Hey, that's going to cause stress and pressure on the relationship. They like to do things like that. They go to sleep at the wheel, I told them. I don't care how good of a driver you are. If you go to sleep at the wheel, you're going to go off the road. If you're lazy, guess what? You become boring after a while. I don't care how handsome, how beautiful you are. If you're married to a boring person, it's going to cause problems. If you're married to a person that's selfish, emotionally immature, and lazy, you better count on having some problems in your life. It's as simple as that. Hopefully we're not, okay? Now, the next one is, what do you do to strengthen a relationship? There's a lot of them. And so we just go one by, and that's why people have said, I wish I had this course back when I was in high school, or back 40, 30 years ago. You know, one guy came up to me and he was like, he had his hand in a fist. I thought he's going to hit me. And you know what I said? He said to me, Al, where the hell were you 30 years ago? And I could have had this help. I could have helped. Like some people don't know how to end a relationship. And we talk about this in a minute, talk about right now. Addressing family violence, how we say this is this. NAAFA identifies domestic violence as true identity theft. They start slowly stripping away your identity. And you know how it starts? It usually starts by criticism. Start criticizing you. You walk too slow, you eat too fast, you laugh too loud, you don't dress right, your hair doesn't comb. They gradually start criticizing, and it goes higher and higher. And maybe to avoid confrontation, you begin to submit. And the more you submit, the more they control. And it can happen very gradually, or again, it just happens. And before you know it, you can be married to a guy or a gal that's dominating you for 20, 30 years, and one day you wake up and you say, what has happened? Then that's when the real hurt and anger comes, because you say, what have I been doing? What have I been doing allowed to happen to me for 30, 40 years? Okay. So again, we talk about identity theft. We talk about domestic violence. Okay. We talk about what are the stages of domestic violence? And I say this, most people are not sick. Now, the professional out there say, like an alcoholism. My name is Al, I'm an alcoholic. In other words, I'm sick. I don't do that in my program. No. Now, there are some people that are sick, yes. That's called mental illness. Most people are not sick, okay? But if you're sick, you got to come back to me for help. No, I want you to be independent. I want you to be self-sufficient. Don't always depend on me or the program. Be self-sufficient. Be responsible. Now, be mature. Now, again, you're not sick. Most people have been hurt. And they've been hurt by people that say, I love you. By family and friends, loved ones. They've been hurt. If you don't take care of that hurt, it moves up quickly to anger. Okay? A lot of people are very angry because they've been hurt. If you don't take care of that anger, it moves up to resentment. Stay away from me, get out of my face, leave me alone. The next level is called hatred and revenge. When you get to that level of hatred and revenge, I tell people you're starting to hold hands with the devil. There's one final stage, and that's called evil. When you get to the stage of evil, it's a constant mind. The word constant is important. It's a constant mindset of how can I destroy you? How can I bring you down? That's evil. And the best way to destroy you is to destroy your family. Understand that. If I want to destroy you, I don't destroy your car. I don't destroy your career. I destroy your family. Then I got you. That's why we address family so critical in our program. And we're the only program that really does that. NAVA has found when individuals understand their role as a father and mother are sacred, this is what happens. They become easier to work with. They are more devoted to their children and to each other. They desire to be more self-motivated and improve changes in their lives. They start to be involved in both the lives of their family and community. Develop stronger community commitment to be a blessing to their family, not a burden. We've seen this happen, and people change really fast. I mean, they change pretty darn fast. You point them in the right direction, give them the right tools, they change. Okay. Now, some of the things our participants have done, have experienced. They've been reunited with families. They reestablish legal guardianship of their children. They seek training and educational opportunities. They're going back to college or getting a good vocation. Obtain stable employment, and that has decreased recidivism. These are some of the things we've seen over a period of time with our people. Now, again, in addition to facilitator training, we also can do workshops. We do workshops like on suicide prevention. Okay, a big one in suicide prevention is we teach the people, don't judge or try to understand. Don't try to judge why someone took their life. Okay, you don't know all the circumstances or details around that. So we work with suicide prevention. Okay, there's different things you got to look at there. We work on the healing process. Okay, there's a process to healing. Remember I said, what are the outcomes of healing? You come out with a clear mind and a clear conscience. You transform yourself. Addictions, we talked about that. One thing about it, I always give an example about addiction. When you become addicted, you forfeit your right to choose. You just chase after that addiction. It becomes that powerful. You lose your desire even to choose. How scary is that? Okay. And you know what? You become at one. I always give this example about, let's say you were a good good athlete in high school. And somebody came up to you and said to you, hey, if you use this cane, man, people will notice you. The women like it because you get cool with this cane. Here, take this cane. So you start using a cane to get around. You know what? Your performance is going to drop just a little bit. And somebody comes to you in a few days later, a week or so later, put that cane away. Here's some crutches. Use these crutches. They're better, man. The girls can write their name on it and all this. You look cool. You can use it to defend yourself. So you put that cane away, start using these crutches. Your performance as an athlete is going to drop even more. And then one day they come to you and say, hey, put those crutches away. Use this wheelchair. You can do all these wheelies and all that kind of stuff. So you use the wheelchair. Your performance is going to stop right there. Why do I give an example? When you start drinking, it's like using a cane, okay? When you start abusing alcohol or drugs, it's like using crutches. When you become addicted, it's like being in a wheelchair. Guess what happens? Your ability to solve problems, your maturity growth in the wheelchair stops right there. Have you ever seen a guy that's maybe 50 years old that acts like a 20-year-old kid? Because you know what? He hasn't grown emotionally, or she hasn't grown emotionally. So we say, let's learn the importance of that. These are some workshops we can do. We'd love to do. We have a lot of workshops we can do. Okay, NAFA's programs are used in criminal justice. We use them in courts, probations, parole, law enforcement of different kind, and reentry. Okay, we're actually having some meetings with the Federal Bureau of Prisons, because a lot of our Native men and women are in federal prisons, as you would know. Okay, we also work with non-natives. We're in education. We're in Head Start. We're in high school, junior high schools, even boys and girls clubs use our material. In health and human services, like social services, behavioral health, TANF, parenting classes. So we're in a variety of programs.